Flow, a simple concept we all know about, but how much do we really know? We know that rivers flow. What comes from upstream goes downstream, from its source to its mouth. What comes in goes out. But what else flows? Leaves flow. Taken from their plants, they go with the wind. Not forever, but to a new home.
Just like us humans.
We begin our days in our beds. We flow through doorways, cities, and roads, never staying in one state forever. We flow through the entire planet, but even planets flow. They flow around the sun at incredible speeds over incredible distances.
And the sun flows throughout the universe.
Even that of the most abstract flows. Light. Light is refracted, reflected, and bent. Just as a planet's path is affected by the sun's gravity, light is affected in the same way. But it's not just light, people, or planets that flow. Everything flows. In classical physics, objects like planets and leaves are modeled as particles, whereas things like light are modeled as waves. The particle is a source with nothing around it, and the wave is all around but lacks a source. They are opposites.
However, using this idea of flow, we can describe the entire behavior of the universe.
We derive an equation that satisfies both the particle and wave models. For example, with this equation, we can predict the orbit of the planets around the sun and the bending of light due to the sun's gravity. To describe these behaviors in classical physics takes two separate ideas, particles and waves, and two separate sets of equations. Waves are continuous. They not only flow, they look like they flow. We describe them as electric and magnetic fields, though in both cases, they are simply vector fields of energy. Objects, on the other hand, do not intuitively look like they flow, but they do. Objects flow by obeying the laws of the conservation of energy. That is, that in an area, the energy remains constant. Energy enters, is generated inside, and leaves in such a manner that the total energy stays the same. The energy that enters and exits an area is easy for us to interpret as flow. But what about the energy that is generated? To understand this, we must look at our reality using all the 4 dimensions that it possesses. When we unfold a 3D cube, we get 6 squares, or 2D cubes, that form a cross. These squares are the faces of the 3D cube. Each face exists either in the XY, XZ, or YZ plane. When unfolding a 4D cube, we get 8 faces, each being a 3D cube. Each of the 2D faces of these 3D faces exists either in the XY, XZ, YZ, X time, Y time, or Z time planes. We will highlight all of the 2D faces that do not exist in a temporal plane in blue. The 2 cubes that are completely blue are spatial, meaning that they only exist in the X, Y, and Z dimensions. The other 6 cubes are temporal, meaning they exist in 2 spatial dimensions and in time. The flow of energy through each face of a cube, 3D, 2D, or otherwise, happens in the dimension that is perpendicular to that face, or in other words, the dimension that the face does not exist in. Since our 4D cube has 2 faces perpendicular to the time dimension, energy flows through these faces in time.
This flow is our generation term in the conservation of energy.
2 conceptions of what make up the universe, particles and waves, have been at odds with each other historically and scientifically. However, the flow of energy is a simple and intuitive idea that transcends the notion of the particle and the wave. We see flow everywhere in life, so when I first asked you, how much do we really know about flow? Perhaps we already know everything we need.